Hello. Today I'm going to make my case as to why I think the stock market is pretty healthy, and and yeah, that's it. I'm going to try and make my case as to why I think the stock market is okay and it's not about to super crash like a lot of people are thinking in post market. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is the what everyone is very scared about, and this is the this this is the daily chart of the SPY, and everyone's scared right now because they think that this what we're doing right here, this upward move looks a lot like this upward move right here. Looks a lot like this because, and it looks even more similar to that because we're having decreasing volume. The lower volume is going lower, lower, and lower, and just like here, right here we had decreasing volume, and people are scared right now because what happened here was that the volume decreased to almost lowest levels, and then that means that the buyers, as they were trying to go up, the buyers exhausted, and then the sentiment, the belief that the market would go up or go down, it changed from bull to bear because the buyers exhausted. There were no more buyers, so that means that slowly people was change their opinion of where the market was going to go from bull to bear. From it's going to go up to it's going to go down. Once people started thinking it's going to go down, a lot of people started thinking that. Then we just actually went down. So people are thinking the same thing right here. We're going up. We're going up. We're going up. The volume is going lower, 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 and lower. So that means buyers are exhausting, and people think that once the buyers exhaust, then we're gonna all the sellers are gonna appear, and then we're gonna go down. So this is what's scaring a lot of people right now. But I have actually four reasons why I think this is not the case. The first reason is that the reason we had this massive selling volume that led to this big crash is because of Trump's announcement. We don't have the same thing right here. We need another Trump announcement of some type of scary thing that will scare everyone, and then only then we will go down. The second reason why I think we're not gonna go down, even though the post market is pretty scary right now, to be honest. The the second reason I think we're not gonna go down is because uh the put call ratio. The put call ratio today is 0.9. This is pretty uh it's pretty high. It's not as high as 1, which would make me think that the market is going to skyrocket up, but it's not as low as 0.75 or zero point 0.6, which is what happened on uh, on this candle, daily candle. This candle, let me show you something. Today's put call ratio is 0.9, right? Let me show you. This is the chart of the chart of the put call ratio of all, and the put call ratio is basically all the puts and all the calls within all the stocks and ETFs in the market put together into one ratio. And the puts go first, so it's the higher the number, the more puts there are. So this this is the SPY, and this was the candle I was talking about that looks a lot like today. And the day on that candle, that put call ratio was 0.75. So it's not as today's zero point 0.9 is not as bad as it was on that day. And let me show you something else as well. This chart is the 2022 stock market bear market, and this was January, and look at what happened here. Similar candle, and then we fell down, but the put call ratio then was 0.59. So that was really bad. If today was 0.59, then I would say we were gonna go down a lot. But let me show you something else. The put call ratio on this high was 0.68. So the fact that today's put call ratio is 0.9, and all those tops in the past, the tops in the SPY in the past were 0.68, 0.59, 0.75, means that it means several things. It means three things. The first thing it means is that there's a lot less people shorting the market. I mean, today we have a lot more shorting the market, and that's additional buyer fuel. Because if you have that many people shorting whatever stock they're looking at or ETF they're looking at, that means that tomorrow we'll have a lot more coverers coming into tomorrow, and they will keep the market at least continuing to go up, keep the market high. Or if the market goes down, it will make it bounce and come back up. That's the first thing that this high put call ratio means. The second thing that this high put call ratio means is that it destroys this whole idea. This chart I'm looking at right here is the 5-minute of the SPY. This was yesterday. This is today, and it destroys this idea that this whole thing is a bullish sentiment. Because if it was bullish sentiment, then if the put call, since the put call ratio is 0.9, it makes us it gets rid of the idea that this whole thing is bullish. And if it's not, because if it was super bullish, then all these thrusts on high volume, all these thrusts on high volume that failed, on low volume, all these thrusts on low volume that failed would mean that there are no more buyers. But because the put call ratio says that this is not super bullish sentiment, then there could be more buyers. If it was super bullish sentiment and then we had all these thrusts that failed, that means that it will say that for a long time from now there will be no more buyers. If there are no more buyers, then we will just crash, because the sentiment will eventually change from bull to bear, and then the sellers will come in and we'll crash. But because this is not super bullish, because of the put call ratio being 0.9, it doesn't mean that there are no more buyers. It just means there are no more buyers today. There could be more buyers tomorrow, because this whole thing is not super bullish. It's because since the put call ratio is 0.9, it's not super bullish, and so there could be more buyers coming in tomorrow or the day after. The second thing is that if this whole sentiment is kind of bearish, because the put call ratio is 0.9, it means that since there are no more sellers, today it didn't crash, right? So because that shows that there are not that many sellers either, because the put call ratio is 0.9, and this whole thing is kind of bearish, because the put call ratio is 0.9. And the reason the put call ratio 0.9 is 0.9, I'm guessing, is because people are pretty smart. They see this candle right here looking a lot like this candle, and there are people who are anticipating that this will go down, just like it went down like here. So the people are smart. They're shorting, but because they're shorting, it changes the sentiment and it increases the amount of people who need to cover. So it's less likely that we are going to go down because the put call ratio is 0.9. And the third thing that that I think we're not gonna crash and go down to 5.2 is because of the 10-day moving average of the put call ratio. We're doing pretty good. Like we're at 0.73 10-day. This blue line is the 10-day average of the put call ratio. And we're at 0.772, and that's pretty high. That means that there's still a lot of shorters, people who need to short, who have shorted already, who need to cover, and that makes the idea that this market is pretty healthy. And let me show you something else. When it was right here, and when the market crashed, the put call 10-day SMA was 0.78, and during the stock market bear market of 2022, the put call ratio was the 10-day SMA here was 0.7, and right here when it also crashed again was 0.8. So today, the 10-day moving average today being 0.792 is very good indication that we're not gonna have a major crash soon. So those are my 3 reasons, or 4 reasons. The fact that the put call ratio today was 0.9 is one reason. It changes the sentiment and it increases the amount of people who need to cover tomorrow. And the second reason is what I just showed you. The 10-day moving average of the put call ratio is very high, which increases even more the amount of people who need to cover. And also the fact that the third reason is the fact that the reason we came down so heavily is because of Trump's tweet that of all the terror news, and since we need a similar news event to happen again for us to continue going down. And if there's no more of that news, then I don't think we're gonna go down very much. I think that here's my guess. I think that we might open very low, and the put call ratio might skyrocket to 1.2. And if it skyrockets to 0.2, and then the market's not gonna go down, because put call ratio might open and it might skyrocket to 0.2 at the beginning of the day. That means a lot of people are shorting and are very negative and creating puts, and that's what will fuel the move back up. So that's my guess right now. That what was going to happen, even though the post market is pretty scary right now. People are anticipating that what's happening tomorrow is going to be like this. That's why people are shorting and selling right now.